Okay, so the offense is in big personnel here. Let's take one look at this play, and then we'll come back and look at details. See, the offense changes strength, and then changes strength again. They're going to run an ISO play that then gets shut down in the backfield here for basically no gain. So let's take a step back and go through this a little bit more slowly and understand, why it happened the way it did. First of all, let's kind of examine this motion and see what it accomplishes for the offense. So we're going to change strength over to the weak side over to the short side of the field here, and the defense adjusts by shifting the front line of the defense. We get a shift in the techniques across the front. Then we're going to take this other tight end and we're going to motion him back across the formation. So watch how the defense adjusts to that. So the second adjustment there occurs on the back level of the defense. So this is pretty common that defenses will adjust to motion in different ways. Sometimes we'll get a front line adjustment, sometimes we'll get a linebacker adjustment, sometimes we'll get a safety adjustment. It just depends. But at the end of the day, what the offense has been able to create here is a bubble right here on this side of the play between this 1-tech defensive lineman and this wide 5-tech. So what they're trying to do on this play is run ISO, and they've created the hole that they want to run in now. So initially we're getting exactly what we want. Let's see what happens. We're going to kind of step through this in slow motion. So one thing to notice there is that the strong side linebacker he attacks this lead block from the fullback aggressively. And that's a big part of what succeeds for the defense here, because him attacking that block, one, forces the running back to read this block and cut off it a lot sooner than he wants to. Ideally with this lead block, he's able to follow it and then make a cut either to the outside or to the inside, depending on how the play looks for him. Having to cut in the backfield makes it so that he doesn't really have an inside cut here available, so he's just forced to the outside. The other thing to notice here, and sort of why this play eventually gets shut down, is all of this pursuit that gets to the running back. So you essentially see, 3 unblocked guys here. So you might ask yourself, well, how could this play ever succeed when there's 3 unblocked players coming after the running back? So let's just back up a second and see how the play is sort of supposed to happen here and why this works for the defense. So if we come all the way back to this point in the play, the center and the guard are doubling this one technique. And so what they should do is physically dominate this nose, basically pick him up and push him straight back into the defense. If that happens, this backside pursuit basically doesn't really have an opportunity to flow to the play well. It also is going to create some space so that you can have that sort of dual option for the running back when he makes his cut off the lead block. So that's ultimately, those two things in combination, the aggressive attack from the strong side linebacker and the ability of this nose to stand up the double team, is what leads this pursuit to be able to get to the running back and stop this play for no gain. One thing to take away there is, Boise State's offensive line is having trouble with the nose tackle and winning that assignment. And then also they're having trouble with the linebacking being really aggressive here. So let's look at a couple more plays in this sequence in Boise's gap runs and kind of see how this dynamic plays out. Okay, so here's the next play from Boise. Again, we're in 2-back personnel. Let's kind of check out what happens here. So we again run to the short side, and we get caught up in the backfield there. So let's take a look again to see how Oregon State's defense stopped this play. So after running that ISO on the last play, this time the offense runs inside zone. They bring the fullback outside to pick up this outside man. And what's happening from the defense is, one, we're getting a stunt on the strong side here. The tackle is going to attack outside toward the C gap, and then this end is going to come over the top of him and sort of pinch inside and attack this gap here. And then on the back side of this play, on the short side of the field here, the defensive end is pinching down to take away this inside gap, and he's trying to penetrate. He does a good job of that, but you can see that as we watch this block develop, that's actually not what stops this play. This defensive end does a good job of penetrating, but it's this defensive end coming free in the backfield and getting backfield penetration that allows him to stop this play. Now, if he had been delayed at all, then you can see this play is pretty wide open. Running back's got a nice, clear running lane, and this pursuit's going to have a hard time pursuing him inside out, and he has one blocker coming down here. So he should basically get a one-on-one and probably can make a touchdown. But the defensive end makes a great play, nice tackle, and stops him in the backfield. So that's 2 plays on the goal line that get stuffed by Oregon State from aggressive play from their defensive front. So 3rd and goal now. Let's take a look at what Boise does here after those 2 failed runs. So you get a reverse pass, open receiver, touchdown. So again, let's try to understand, why this worked so well. Obviously, one aspect to a call like that is that it's punishing this aggressiveness from the front. So we get outside zone blocking for essentially what looks like a speed option here. But then instead of pitching to the running back, we're pitching to a reversing wide receiver. These backside players, the defensive end, who was initially blocked by the backside tight end, this now looks like it's wide open for a reverse. So you've got this backside safety and the defensive end here in place. And so as soon as I see that reverse, well, the end is thinking, crap, I got to attack this reverse. And the safety is initially held by the same thing. He then sees, I've got an open receiver, that's my responsibility. But it's already too late, there's too much space. So at that point, it's just a matter of execution from the offense, and you get a nice pass from the wide receiver. That's always a nice thing. And you get the touchdown catch. So again, just a great call from Boise. Even though their running game is struggling against the aggressiveness from the front, they've still found a way to take what the defense is giving them by attacking that running game and leverage that threat in the running game into a successful touchdown play.